Welcome to Fixing Assets. You remember I got that 3D printer? Well, I found something else to do with it. I got some wheels about 6 months ago, and whilst I'm not 100% after having a hell of a bad flu, cold, whatever, I'm going to create the wheel caps, the centre caps for the wheels. Now, I've had a few thoughts and I've been designing them and trying them out. First one was this one. Didn't quite fit the bottom into the hole and it stuck out a bit too much. So from that, created that, which doesn't stick out as much. For me, it's a bit too spherical. It needs tapered in a little bit more, but this does seem to fit in the hole well enough. So, having learned those lessons from the creation of those two, it's time to create the final design from scratch. So, comment and subscribe if you want to see more car restoration, and keep watching and watch the creation of the centre caps from start to finish. So we are in FreeCAD again, and we are going to create an empty file. I'm going to go to Sketch. Now, these things are the easiest things to create because you need to have an idea about what shape you're after. Now, obviously, we want the bit that goes into the hole on the wheel, the bit that stops it so it's a bit fatter than it, and then we're going to taper it up. We want a place for that VW badge. I've got a sample of the VW badge here, so I want somewhere that's a bit inset. Now the size of this is 60. Size of the VW badge that I've got here is 40. I'm going to try and do a 50mm VW badge. So we need the taper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a plane that we're going to draw on. Now the first thing I'm going to draw is the line, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it a 8mm long line that's at 90 degrees from the red line, and it is going to be 67.5. Actually, we're looking at radius, so 67.5 is, I think, right, accountant gets his calculator out. 67.5 over 2, 33.75 from the centre. So you can see in the bottom corner, actually you can't because I'm in the bottom corner, but it says fully constrained down there. Now we're going to add a bit of thickness to that. How much did I go for this? Because I was quite happy with that. I went for 3 mils of thickness, so if we can aim for a minimum of 3 mils of thickness. Just 3 and 0, so quite happy with that. And then 1, 8 and 0 for the moment. To be honest with you, we're probably going to do something sneaky with that one, so in fact I'm going to undo that so that we've just got the two lines like that. Going to have another line along there, and I think if we go for another 3 mils at 180mm, 180 bollocks. Was that 3 mil? Did I do that? 3 mil. So 3 mil, 180mm, and 10. That's got your little ridge. So I think I decided with this one that I wanted it a bit less than the other one because I did the two and I found that this was a bit much. So measuring, that's 30mm. So we need a line 30mm long. So for the moment, 30, as long as that's 30, it doesn't matter. Now we were talking about 50mm from here, so do 50, 90. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that one there, and to make life easier, delete that one as well, because that one's definitely not in the right place. So do 55 minus 180. There we go, and do a distance between there and there of 30. And then we are going to do partial circle, that one there, 180 degrees there. And then we're going to link that and that. This wasn't meant to be 55, was it? Because we're dividing everything by 2, so this is 27.5. And I'm going to make this a diameter of 6, so a radius of 3. So if I do that to that, then say 3, if we do that, I think we're going to have to get rid of this line here. One's floating around there. So if we put that to that there, like that, we've got that and that. So see, we've got that like that. It's coming up with lots of errors because I'm playing around with it. So do 6, there's 1 DOF, and just need to get, so we've got 33.5, it's probably right, because if 27.5 plus 6 is 33.5. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a little bit of an inset here, so I think we need rid of that line there. So, and we're going to need to put that across there. Right, I'm going to inset it by 3mm. So 25, 180. That was going to be 300 tall. It was going to be 30 tall. It's going to be 27 tall now. And we need another one there, 390, like that. That one there. I'm going to take off constraints and see if we can see where the big issues are. So do that. So that length there should be 2.5. So we've got that constrained. Yeah, that one's constrained. I think we need to work out what this length is. 30. There, that says fully constrained. So I'm quite happy with the shape of that so far. What we now need to do is we need to add some thickness to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 3mm minus 90, and I'm going to do that 27.25, 27.25 minus 180. This one here, 3mm, 0. Link those two. So now what we need to do is put a few more constraints. So that one, 32. So you see that's it's not constrained. So if do, then that's fully constrained and come out of there, and we've got a shape. Now within revolution, this is going to turn that into that with pretty much one click. Isn't that magic? So I'm going to save this. So put center cap VW badge, and we will export the body file export. Now I'm going to put that into the final step files folder, center cap VW badge body, and then we can pick this up. So we're at the good old 3D printer. The next thing we need to discuss is material. Now this is the stuff that you've seen the other ones created out of. This is ABS carbon fibre. Basically it's reinforced, so it comes out a bit nicer and stronger. I've been quite happy with how other stuff's come out. You cannot really use PLA for this sort of job. Now, these are some light fittings I've made for a friend. Effectively that goes into there. That goes into where you would normally put the rubber for one of those domed indicator lamps. It's really so that the lamp stands upright on a wing that's like that. Anyway, the plan is to use this stuff because I've been happy with how it comes out. I am also going to clean the bed and put a bit of adhesive down. In fact, I would say that's probably adhesive enough. I don't know, I'll give it a go. Right, we are in Elego Slicer. So what we need to do, create new project, final step files. find centre cap VW badge. Now, ideally, if I wanted to print 4, what I'd do is I'd just put them like that. However, really what I'm wanting to do is I want to test it to see if it's how I want it. And they do take a while to sort out as well. So what I need to do is I need to select the material, which I found Elegoo say works really well with the stuff I'm printing with. I've got the ASA ABS setup final, which gives us a fine resolution with the strength of being 100% sparse infill density. I'm also going to ask it to do support. Now these are the settings that created these, so I'm not going to mess with success. And then what we'll do now is we'll preview it. That just means that when I want it to print, it'll print. So what you can see that, if we zoom in, that's the support on the inside. That's the outer edge. Those are the outer edges. And that's the infill, and those are the supports on the outside. Now, I'm quite happy with how these feel, so we can work from that. Now we can see that each one's going to take 4 passes, 4 hours to print, which is a long time. And in order to get something that to make sure it's the right size to go in the gap as well, it's not going to be too much of an ask to add on the VW logo. I'm gonna come on then. It's taking its time. There we go. Move that. That's the wrong VW logo. Go away. VW logo. There we go. Obviously that's not going to fit in there. What we need to do is we need to scale it so that this is 49.5 by 49.5. Then we'll untick that for the uniform scale and make it 3mm thick. So I'm gonna pop that there and preview it. It's only going to add a few more minutes onto the model printing time. Let's click the print button. I've set it up, it's ready to go. So let's click print. This then uploads it to the system. You can see what I've been printing. So I've done a Spitfire stereo front, which the next Spitfire video will explain what that's for. That's this centre cap. That's those light fittings I was telling you about with the 3D printer. So that's those. Now obviously these, what I'm going to do with these is that when I'm happy with this, I'm going to print out some of these in white. And if they come out okay in white, I'm going to glue one to the other and there'll be VW badged centre caps. And I'm only going to do this one to see if it's any good, and if it's any good, do the rest of them. But anyway, we are now in for 4 hours worth of. So we've got the VW badge and we've got that. VW badge is a bit thin, but it slips in that gap nicely, so I know the dimensions are the ones that we're going to use. Now as you can see, there is the infill, that one there, so you can see that's left the ridge, and this, which generally speaking I end up having to use that to get out there. So that's, I quite like them. I do quite like them. VW badge. The white VW badge, that is, will look very nice in there. So the plan is going to be print again. And this is the finished product. I've printed a bunch of these out. That one's got some black in it, so may have to reprint that one, but you know, I've got, you see, it's obviously brought in the old filament. It's a problem with printing in white, but yeah, that one's okay. That one I may reprint. That one is actually okay on both sides. But yeah, all I've done is I've gotten some super glue and stuck the white bit in. And we've got the first one fitted. I'm happy with that. I'm going to get the other three printed out. So anyway, if you want to watch more progress with this particular car here, we'll zoom out. And the one behind's going to be the next one I work on actually. Subscribe and watch out for the next video on fixing assets.